Hello, readers and writers. Welcome to lesson 35 of ELA School Away from School. I'm Mr. Driver, and I'll be your virtual teacher for today's daily lesson. Let's start with our same guiding questions that we've been going over. What journey does food take before it gets to your plate? How do we make decisions about what we eat? Think about the article that was read in lesson 34. And think about what these questions and how they might apply to this article. This article is slightly different, but it still continues to bring around some of the same topics that we've been talking about, more so with sustainability. So thinking about food, thinking about how does sustainable food, get to your plate. Think about how maybe we make decisions about what we eat and considering, should we eat sustainable food? All right, time to get some materials out for today's daily lesson. You're going to need your copy of the text, What is Sustainability, your copy of lesson number 35, the lesson number 35 note catcher, as well as a pencil. Go ahead and pause the video here and make sure you have everything needed for today. We have two learning targets for today's work. I can find the gist of a specific section from the text, and I can use a variety of strategies to determine the meaning of unknown words and phrases in the text. Let's make sure we keep these learning targets in mind during all of our work today. First, you'll be rereading What is Sustainability? For today's lesson, we will focus on the first half of the reading, so you don't have to read the entire article, which it's definitely recommended, but if you just make sure that you read the introduction and then the subsections or titles called 3 Pillars of Sustainability and History of Sustainability. As you read along, consider replaying and listening to the text read aloud from lesson 34. Pause the video here while you return to your reading. Now that you've had a chance to look at the text again, I want you to think about a couple of things. Remember, the gist is your initial thinking, so it's your first kind of thinking about what the text is mostly about. Also, when determining the meaning of unknown or unfamiliar words, consider the following strategies in order. Use of context. Read the sentences before, during, and after to help predict its meaning. Once you think you know the meaning of a word, try replacing that word with what you think it is. Does it make any sense? Use of word parts like prefix, affix, or suffix. Think about what a prefix, if there are any prefixes or suffixes or affixes in the word. Think about if they're positive or negative. Think about what they might mean. Sometimes that helps predict the meaning as well. And if needed, just look up the word in a dictionary or possibly Google search it on your phone. Okay, what is the gist of the following sections? Which is introduction, the 3 pillars of sustainability, and history of sustainability. Are there any unfamiliar words in those sections? And in the note catcher, you will see some of the words that were pulled out just in case, like they're ones that commonly are not always known. But if you do know it, great. But if not, then maybe you recognize a couple other ones that are not on there. You can replace them with them or possibly write some new ones on the note catcher as well. Now it's time to have that discussion with your family member, caregiver, or friend. What is the gist? What makes you say that? Which words were new or unfamiliar to you? What do you think their meanings may be? Go ahead and pause the video here as you discuss. Please take out your lesson 35 note catcher. Using the lesson 35 note catcher, write the gist of the introduction and following sections, 3 pillars of sustainability and the history of sustainability. Write the definition of each word in your own words and what strategy you use to determine their definition. Also, the synonym, which means, of course, words that mean the same thing. So just replace, not replace necessarily, but think about other words that might mean the same. For example, in lesson 35 note catcher, the first word is thrive. You try to find out the definition using the strategies that we talked about. If not, you can look it up, but then think about what is another word for thrive. Maybe you know that, you can take a guess, but you can also look that up to fact check yourself. Go ahead and pause the video here while you complete this work. Time to wrap up today's lesson. Let's think about how you did with our learning targets. I can find the gist of a specific section from the text, and I can use a variety of strategies to determine the meaning of unknown words or phrases in the text. As a closing, share your writing with someone and tell them why you chose to write what you did. Also, remember to read a book today for 20 minutes. You can also read with a family member, caregiver, or friend. I also want you to practice your fluency by reading the article from today out loud, or have an adult read the text to you while you follow along. Then practice reading the text at least 2 times on your own. Thanks again for learning with me. Tomorrow for lesson 36, we will look more closely at the second half of this week's article so we can better understand it. Enjoy the rest of your day.